let's talk about Damon Young, the editor-in-chief of Very Smart Brothers and a columnist for GQ.com. Oh, and we can't forget, professional black person.
No.
You have been warned. Let the demonetization process begin!
Not to be confused with Damon Young, the Australian philosopher. Dear God, no, don't get them confused, whatever you do. Damon could never bear the prospect of being accused of being guilty of something as heinous as being white. Now could he? Thus, the rest of this video, we're going to be addressing Damon, if we absolutely must, as Black Damon Young, so that we don't get confused. We can never forget that Damon is black. He certainly won't let us forget, and it is what Damon would have wanted. Yeah, because to Black Damon Young, race matters. And don't you forget it. He is the author of such hot takes as the delicious salt of Brett Kavanaugh's white tears. Straight black men are the white people of black people. As ugly as President Trump is, he's just a mirror for white America. And white people just keep white peopling. And that's just the content that I've found going back at least the last month of Black Damon Young's hot takes, with the exception of the Black Men Are the White People of Black People article, which was actually reinstated in the timeline of Mr. Black Damon Young's by a revival piece that he'd done to look back at his previous most popular work of 2017. Because it makes sense to relive a nuclear hot take of such dastardly reputation. I myself am guilty of it. When in doubt, double down. Am I right, kids? We're not going to look in depth at those stories, though. They are linked in the description if you should feel the need to check them out, and you probably should check them out. They are very spicy. We are not going to be going through them today. I apologize. Because while all of Black Damon Young's hot takes stink like the steaming hot piles of schwiznigets that they are, the one that we're going to be directing our attentions to is the freshest of these hot takes. What Taylor Swift did is cool, I guess, but we need fewer white people to vote, not more. We've come so far, we're so enlightened, giving people rights left and right, black and white, male and female, binary and non-binary, and they're talking about giving them to children now, too. What a time to be alive. We've come so far that we should be going backwards now. Don't you understand? According to Black Damon Young, we should be going backwards. I'm not saying that Black Damon Young is saying that we should be taking rights away from people of alabaster skin pigmentation entirely. No. But he definitely thinks that white people should neuter themselves in the political grand scheme of things. The end goal, of course, being that eventually white people and their pesky opinions on things such as politics take a backseat to everyone else who doesn't fall under the umbrella of whiteness. Viva la civil rights, am I right, people? Earlier this week, millions rejoiced as sentient Facebook algorithm Taylor Swift emerged from her rhinestone-studded cocoon of caucasity to reveal that she recently discovered racism and the importance of voting. This act apparently caused a massive voter registration spike, according to Kamari Guthrick, Director of Communications for Vote.org. As many as 65,000 people registered within a day after Swift's politically charged Instagram post. You'll notice, if you have the mentality of, well, moi, that most of what Black Damon Young says comes off as preemptively hostile right out of the gate. This is because Black Damon Young knows his audience, and he knows what they want, what they crave, what they desire most. A white devil. Just look at this opening line. Sentient Facebook algorithm Taylor Swift emerged from her rhinestone-studded cocoon of caucasity. Whew, the alliteration is strong with this one. Black Damon Young spent more of his brain power figuring out that one single line than he did writing the entirety of this article. And if I know Black Damon Young, like I think I do, that is quite a feat with the mental gymnastics that he hurdles through on the daily through his articles. Also related, you know the alternative and better ending to I Am Legend where Will Smith was actually the monster and the zombies were only attacking him because he kept kidnapping and killing them? Well, with the newly woke Swift and the comatose Kanye, this is how it feels to be a former resident of Yeezus Island in 2018. What did I say about mental gymnastics again? I need a translation. What the fiddlesticks is a Yeezus? How is that an alternative ending? And not just a reinterpretation of what happened in the movie. When did Kanye die? How did we get to I Am Legend? And I am not black enough for this. I am definitely not black enough for this. Anyway, even with a healthy cynicism of her motives, Swift becoming so outspoken, so close to such an important election would seem to bode well for us in this context. Us, of course, is people who are sane and people who are not evil. Since it's safe to assume that the people Swift has the most influence over are millennials, and since younger people are more likely to be progressive, her act might actually have a substantive positive effort on the polls. Perhaps she might even swing a race or two. Doubt it. If all the blue check marks in the world couldn't swing the 2016 election with their Twitter influence, what makes you think that a sentient Facebook algorithm emerged from her rhinestone-studded cocoon of caucasity could do any better? That said, of the 65,000 and counting that Taylor Swift supposedly inspired to register, I doubt that there are very many black people in there. I'm sure there are some sprinkles of pepper in that sea of salt, but that's some lonely butt trumpet pepper. Unfortunately, even deeper than my cynicism of Swift is my well-earned skepticism of white people's voting habits. Never in the history of America has more white people voting been a good thing for anyone who wasn't white. Well, now, that's just patently false, and I can prove it. I'm fairly certain that civil rights were voted into law by a majority white Congress, if I'm not mistaken. How's that for an inconvenient truth? You can make a big kerfuffle about how it took half an arm and half a leg to do exactly what they ended up doing in the end. That they didn't initially out of the gate do the right thing for the rest of the American population, but credit where credit is due, am I right? There was a problem for non-white people, and it was corrected by white people. There you go. So much of the push towards voter registration is directed at blacks and other people of color, but we aren't the problem. When we vote, the vast majority of us take a look at the ballot box and choose the candidates who are the most sane and the least evil. There we are again, conflating the opposite of sane with evil. Black Damon Young is a naughty boy, to be sure. Even with the schwiz-niggity choices we're so often given, 90% of us still manage to choose the right ones. Do you have that statistic, I wonder? Or is this you editorializing as well? Maybe we're getting it all wrong. Maybe instead of trying to get more of us to vote, the push should be to get less of them to vote. Maybe on election day we should erect targeted barricades at each and every crucible of whiteness, from Cracker Barrel to Lululemon, however the fuck you say that, so they can't escape until voting is over. Well, now, I'm pretty sure that that's illegal, unconstitutional, and result in violent riots. Have you met Americans? Have you? If you tell them that they can't do something, they will protest, and they will be petty about it for the better or the worse. That goes for basketball Americans, as well as the penis-inverted Americans, as well as the powdered, wig, slack-jawed, yokel saltine Americans. It don't discriminate. America is America is America, in that we are all alike. Maybe we should push to have soccer moms and suburbanites take citizenship tests before they're able to vote. And maybe these tests should have unanswerable questions like, where is Egyptian musk manufactured, and undoable tasks like sing the third verse and lift every voice and sing. Maybe we should just scratch everyone named Susan from the polls. Just think about how much better our country would be for everyone. Women, the LGBT community, Muslims, immigrants, and even Kappas. If only like 17 white people were allowed to vote. Actually, that's not a bad idea. You know what? Let's make it harder to vote. On top of making sure American citizens are the only ones allowed to vote in American elections, let's make it a bare minimum requirement that you pay taxes before you vote, that you can read before you can vote, that you actually know the issues and their repercussions domestically, internationally, fiscally, socially, and otherwise, inside and out before you vote. Then we make sure that they've written out the rationale for why they voted the way that they did in Chicago Tribune format, 10 pages long for each decision, every single one, single space, 12-point font, Times New Roman, and it had better be delivered by carrier pigeon, wax sealed and perfumed with the sigil of your household, and signed in blood or your vote. It doesn't do fiddlesticks. Better yet, let's just move right into a tyranny, since you want to be a complete lunatic. Of course, I'm not saying that I don't trust white people at all. I don't, but that's not what I'm saying here today. Casual racism that qualifies Black Damon Young for this series is casual and brushed off, as if it is nothing. If, for instance, I'm in need of a plumber today and that plumber happens to be white, I will give Sully the plumber the benefit of the doubt. I also trust white people making coffee and pouring beer, but that's perhaps Perhaps that's only because I don't drink either. But when it comes to voting, yeah, I trust them as far as I can see them, which sucks since voting is done behind a curtain. What are they gonna do behind the curtain that you're so worried about, Black Damon Young? Are they going to vote in their own best interests and not say, for example, that of the average basketball American op-ed writer who no one takes seriously outside of the self-erected echo chamber, i.e. The Root and Very Smart Brothers? So, maybe if Taylor Swift really wanted to do some good, she would tell her millions of followers that the midterm elections are happening on Black Friday, which, all things considered, could even eventually be a pun. Assuming black voter turnout doesn't drop 7% again, oh, that's right, Latinos didn't falter, the women stayed strong, and naturalized citizen voting increased from 2012 and 2016 elections. Black Damon Young, how does it feel to be the bigoted, self-righteous, and entitled spokesperson for the most disappointing minority representation at the ballots of 2016? Black Damon Young. He talks a big game and he's got a lot to say about things, but at the end of the day, all he is a sad, pathetic excuse for a journalist who writes out his butt trumpet with his own contrived bullshwizzy niggets meant to cater to racists and piss off everyone else. If you like what I'm doing here, you can check out the links in the description to my Amazon, Patreon, and Teespring. If you maybe don't like me that much, you can always like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. Also, don't forget to hit that bell so that you actually get notified because YouTube hates me among everyone else. Finally, if you want to see more of me, maybe not within the video capacity, I do an RPGS stream every Monday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Magog of Morscar's channel. It's called Side Quest. Check it out. It's so much fun. And a bi-weekly stream about the news, advice, and going-ons, and more Sundays and Wednesday nights from 7:30 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Some Dumb Americans channel called Two Girls One Stream. Links to both their channels down below in the description.